All right. We'll start with the pledge of allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay. Look for a motion. No? Roll call. Councilmember Blue,
He was here.
Here, I'm here.
I didn't recognize him with the beard and the hat.
Fallon. Here. Happy.
Here.
Miller.
Here.
Excused.
Wood. Okay.
Yep. We have a-
Okay. Okay. Let's move on to the agenda for this evening.
We have no changes.
Okay. And let's see, so no other amendments to the agenda? Okay. Let's go to the adoption of the consented consent agenda.
I make a motion that we approve the approval of the September 26, 2022 city council minutes, ratification of the bills in the amount of $85,939.47. Approve the noise waiver for Carter and Wilson wedding and the Marine Park.
Second? All right, all in favor, we'll do a roll call. Member Blue,
Aye.
Happy,
Aye.
Fallon. Aye. Miller,
Aye.
Wood.
Aye.
Passes. So approval of the September 26th, 2022 city council minutes. So now we're going to appointment of committees. Public hearing. We have none. Thank you. Keep me on track. All right. Appointment to committees now, right? All right. Approved process for filing council vacancy.
So with Tamara's resignation, we have the opportunity to fill her vacancy.
Discussion?
Put notes on the process. The council minutes or the staff report. And responsibility, council. Choose how you want to fill it. Or not, wait till after the election.
Was her term up?
She has 2 more years.
2 more years? Okay.
I have a suggestion.
Okay, Butch?
All right, I can't find the hand thing on this thing, so I just have to butt in at times. Tamara's term ends in 2 years. We have Jeremiah, who is leaving at the end of this term. I would suggest if Jeremiah would agree to it, that we move him to Tamara's term and let him fulfill her last 2 years. Because when we go to election, we have 4 people on the ballot right now, and there's going to be 4 spaces open. So each one of those that are on the ballot are going to receive a space, because Kathy and I both running for mayor. One of our positions is going to be with the other 3. So if Jeremiah would agree, I would like to reappoint him for 2 more years, because with a new city administrator coming on board, I think we need as much experience as possible. And Jeremiah is completely knowledgeable about everything that's going on. So that's what I got.
Discussion? Thoughts?
I think we have 4 candidates, we'll have 3 positions to fill.
You have 3 4-year terms.
Right.
And because either, assuming one of the other, the city councilors will be elected mayor, that gives you a 4th vacancy
After the election.
after the election.
Right.
But beginning in January.
But I just want to clarify that it's not like we have 4 vacancies and 4 candidates. We have 3 vacancies to fill with 4 candidates. And then after the election, we'll have a 4th spot to fill.
Yeah. No. Correct. You wanna wait till next meeting, just discuss it? further?
Tom isn't there.
I was working. Was that a question from the audience?
We can move it and to discuss it next meeting.
I think one of the things that we discussed when we were looking at filling the last vacancy with Jeremiah was the fact that you had concerns about having, a quorum. And
I
if,
do.
people are sick, and I think that's valid, but I do believe we're closer to the election now than we were before. And I think that there's something to be said about letting the voters decide who's actually on the city council.
Right.
So,
And I feel like if Jeremiah wanted a position, he would have ran in this election. So that showed me that he really maybe don't have an interest in being on council, because why wouldn't he have gotten in an election that we're having?
I think it'd be good to hear from Jeremiah.
Yeah.
Jeremiah, would you like to comment?
Sure, yeah, I'd absolutely be interested in taking Tamara's 2-year term. Got my feet wet, learning what's going on. When I saw the number of people that were running, I thought there seems to be an adequate number of folks that are interested in being part of the city council. And so I'm interested in having as much diversity on there as possible. So that's why I didn't run. It wasn't as if there was a need for me to run, or, right, I believe that everybody who's currently running is absolutely qualified for it. And I'm excited to have some new people. Would certainly be interested in continuing to be a part of it after the first of the year. But I understand Pete's point. I understand your point as well. They're well taken. But yeah, absolutely. If that was something that the council would be interested in, then I would do that.
I guess I feel like it'd be better if we had more representation of people on council to weigh in on this.
I said we can move it to next meeting, and that way everyone will be
Yeah.
present.
We got, yeah.
Right.
I think for the record though, Jeremiah brings a lot to the meetings, and I think, I was excited to see him be a part of it when we filled the last vacancy.
I agree.
I wasn't speaking up, but I wasn't supportive of that. I just wanted
I
to make
didn't.
sure that we were clear on
Okay.
who's going where.
Yeah, I wasn't speaking that I was not supportive of that either. It's
Right.
that he didn't go in for the election, so maybe,
There's a reason why he didn't.
Exactly, like.
Oh, good to clarify. Thank you.
So
Can we,
the only other, you would have one more vote, Tom, to put it off to the next meeting.
right,
Yeah, I think
Let's-
so.
can we move it to the next meeting?
Yeah, you can.
Yeah.
I'm not sure what advantage or disadvantage you have.
Well,
To Gordon's point, he always defers to our judgment anyway. He's usually the tiebreaking vote.
Well, I think we have a lot of, in the interest of time, it sounds like we would like some more discussion on it, if we could just move it to next meeting, if everyone's okay with that.
Sure.
All right, great.
I will not be at the next meeting either. I'll have to be on Zoom because I'm going to be down in Arizona.
Okay, thank you. All right, so next on the list, approve the first reading of ordinance number 457, amending ordinance number 315 for mandatory garbage service.
At city council's request, we have, this is the amendment to the ordinance that would allow us to do mandate containers. And it's because it is a city ordinance, it would be required to amend the ordinance number 315. So that's what you have before you. I can read it by title only. And then you can discuss it. Again, there's no vote taken tonight, it's simply the first review of the first reading. Okay? Ordinance number 457, an ordinance relating to the keeping, removing, and hauling of garbage and refuse in the city of Cascade Locks, providing rules and regulations governing the hauling, collection, and disposal of garbage, refuse, and other solid wastes, authorizing the city council to grant an exclusive contract for collection of solid waste, providing a method for establishment of rates, therefore, providing penalties, and repealing ordinance number 315 and all amendments thereto. Do you have any questions about what you see before you? Butch, do you have any questions or comments?
No, I have no comment on this.
Any comments? You're good?
Yep.
All right.
So I believe we have some people in the audience who want to talk about it.
Yes, I have that. They're kind of a mix, so do I go through these, or this is just?
You can just take them in the order they come. Just for explanation, you each have 3 minutes. If you have something different, if it's the same as the previous speaker, simply say, I support what the previous speaker said, so that we don't miss your time.
Are those forms that said planning commission
Yeah.
applicable here? Okay, I didn't fill one out. It
Yes.
said planning commission.
They say planning commission hearing speaker, yes.
Can I-
Oh,
Yeah.
we're close. We're fine.
All
So
right.
we'll take them in the order that we can.
Okay, so, and some of these are not related to the garbage, but just go in order,
If they're not related to garbage, they said.
set aside.
Goes to the public.
Okay. Denise Baker, land acknowledgement, that's not. Tiffany, is yours?
Oh, yeah.
1%.
Do we just do it from here?
Please.
How about this? Look at us with the owl. Right. All right, welcome.
Okay, so, one quick question for Gordon, please. How many, citizens would be, paying this $7 a month? How many,
All of them.
non-commercial? How many accounts are there?
We have about 400 and, I'm shooting about 530 residences. Some of the garbage is commingled because of their apartments. But I don't know how many different accounts.
Okay. Okay, so, so, is there going, okay, I'm gonna ask some questions and I'd like answers, but I don't want the answers.
You will
to
not
take
get
up-
any answers tonight. You may present your
Okay,
discussion.
so I will present my answers. My questions, so is there going to be a sunset on the $7?
So
No, so it's just gonna be a perpetual from here on out, everybody's gonna be paying $7 a month for a trash can, or for eternity.
That's our larger containers.
Unless it goes up. Unless it goes up, so for the larger, what do you mean except for the larger?
there are
That's it.
3 sizes of containers. We currently have 32-gallon containers. The new roll container with the integrated top is 35-gallon. If you have service for 2 32-gallon containers, you will get a 65-gallon container, one, and the recycling is a 95-gallon container.
So, the 65-gallon is for every 2 weeks, is that, no?
However, your current service is.
And each container is $7, it doesn't matter what.
No.
No,
Okay, so what is this, there's nothing talks about anything about in this, about what the 65-gallon container is going to cost, what the 32-gallon container is gonna
Those
cost.
are in the current rates, whatever your current rates are, add $7.
Okay, and then, Well, do people currently have 65 gallon trash cans?
No, some customers have two 32-gallon trash cans. They will have to be replaced by one 65.
I see, okay, and they're still $7. So they're being charged twice for pickup, basically more than what the.
No,
No,
no.
Okay,
So if someone has one can, right now, we have a 32-gallon can, and then we have 2 blue buckets for recycle, correct? And then it's every other week.
right,
So, correct me if I'm wrong at any time, so then the containers or the roll carts have the attached lids, they're 35-gallon. And then there's a 65-gallon garbage, or excuse me, recycle bin with the rollaway with the lid. That will be on the same rotation every other week. There are quite a few residents that right now who are paying for 2 32-gallon cans. That will be replaced with 1 65-gallon container, and that's just one fee. So
Okay,
they're not
is it-
getting paid the $7 twice.
okay, oh, okay, I don't wanna lose my 3 minutes here, but,
Okay.
because this presentation that you did in a newsletter only talks about a 65-gallon tank, 65-gallon container.
it's a mistake.
Okay, but, you know, people,
I can think.
okay,
Try to
Okay,
answer the
so-
questions.
what happens if their container breaks? Will they have to pay for a new one, or will it just be included in $7 a month fee? Don't know, okay. And,
We
okay,
can check up, we'll be.
They usually replace them though.
Yeah.
okay, but, and recycling is still gonna be done every 2 weeks, as it was before? See, none of this is explained in there. To me, it seems like it would be considered a new fee because you are mandating that people buy a specific trash can for what you want, and your charter specifically says that when you raise a new fee, that it requires a vote of the citizens of Cascade Locks. So,
Hey, Gordon. Could you ask the 541 number, the 399 to mute? Thank you.
Thank you. All right, so garbage, Colleen Poole,
Hi,
hi, welcome.
thank you. So I've had kind of a love-hate relationship with Hood River Garbage. When we moved here, we bought a can with a lid attached. They then informed us a couple years later that we couldn't have it. It was a 32-gallon can. So we bought another one that they continually cut the lid off with a knife every week. That's what, so to send something out saying, are you tired of your garbage that's moving around? Of course we are.
Makes
So
sense.
then, in your statement, it says that we all get a 60-gallon can for $7. What about the people who don't want a 60-gallon can? There's a lot of people that only have 2 people. It is not explained in there if the rate is different.
Okay, so whatever your current rate is, that will be your rate afterwards, plus $7.
But what if you don't
Just-
want the
just a minute.
60?
No, I made a mistake. I thought when we looked at the cans, they were a 35-gallon, 65-gallon, and a 95-gallon. The 35-gallon, if you have one 32-gallon can now, you will get a 35-gallon container, not a 65. If you use 2 32 gallons, you will get a 65-gallon container. And everybody gets the recycle at 95 gallons.
But everybody pays $7 a month, whether they have a 35-gallon can or a
That's
60-gallon can.
That's correct.
Correct.
That is very hard on people who have low income. That is, and plus, they won't even use half of the can. This
Well,
is
okay, the 65-gallon is only if you use 2 32.
correct, but if you're gonna pay the same rate, you might as well get that bigger can, because sometimes we do have extra garbage.
If you do get the
And then we
bigger
pay
can,
extra.
you will pay a bigger rate.
Yeah.
So if you have one can, your rate's X amount, right? But normally if you have the 2 32-gallon tank, you have, that's your rate each month, correct? So if you only have one can and you get the 35-gallon can, then it's just,
So
it's just that
I am
much.
confused as to what this does for the homeowners, because we already pay for garbage service. I will now have 2 cans I can't use because they're gonna give me another can, but I'm still gonna pay $7 extra for a service I'm already paying for and recycling I'm already paying for. What does this do for the homeowner? except cost us more money. It's to better Hood River garbage. Is that not right?
No. I mean, I think the big issues that we're trying to be overcome, and the reason why this got brought up originally was the trash blowing around the neighborhood on the trash days.
Because they won't let us have cans.
Well, and they do say that it was an issue in Hood River as well, and one of the reasons why they looked at remote parts in Hood River was to try to make them more stable, and they have seen a reduction in trash cans and garbage and litter blowing around. So that was one issue, and the second issue is making it easier for people that have a hard time getting their cans to the curb, providing them a can with integrated wheels. So I think that was.
I see how this is going to improve service. So
I
it
don't-
would be nice if you guys could actually show that we're going to have better service, because I already have a can with a lid that rolls that they won't let me use. And I have another can now that has the lid cut off every week. But I'm still gonna pay the same garbage fee plus $7, and they're gonna bring another can to my house, which is gonna be the same size that I already have.
It'll be a little bit bigger and your recycle bin will be quite a bit bigger as well.
And I think the other issue too is that the new, part of that $7 fee is to cover the cost of all the new cans, but also the fact that they're gonna have to send, a truck that's equipped with the equipment to lift those. So that's why it's like everybody's in or we don't do it.
So this benefits them, not us, because it makes it safer for
Well,
the workers.
I
Wow.
respectfully that
totally
I
agree.
think it's a matter of opinion. I have a lot of, know a lot of individuals here who are excited about it. Because they have lots and lots of garbage, they fill more than 2 cans, or quite a few individuals I've talked about, they have mobility issues and they don't have a can with wheels. So they're really excited for it. So, but I can see completely both sides.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All I see is this is a burden on people who are already having contact paying the bills.
And I
Because
think
they're already paying for garbage, and they're not
They,
adding anything to them except cans.
for senior citizens in the community, they'll come and get the can from their house.
No.
Is that
No,
not correct?
not always.
It's an
No.
additional fee to do that.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
It is.
The other thing too is you don't have to worry about the weight of your can. Because currently, if your can is too heavy, they will charge you an extra fee because of
Or they
an
won't take
extra
it
bag or whatever.
Because they keep it lit.
Well, where there's not men lifting that can and it's a machine, a device doing it, then that takes away that too. So there is that.
Yes.
And then we also get 2 times a year that we get to dump stuff. That's included in all of this too, that we can't forget. And 2, the yard debris, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's all included in our rates as well.
All right, but
I object, please.
thank you. Okay, one more, Kathy. Welcome. Thought you looked familiar.
Pardon?
Said I thought you looked familiar.
Okay, so we are on record, right?
Mhm.
All right. I'm gonna read this so I can stay on point and get it over with, but, okay, so for the record, and we are on the record, I am Kathy Tittle. I attended grade school and high school here in Cascade Locks. I moved to California to see the world and moved back with my son and husband in 1990. So I've been here in the same house and neighborhood for 32 years, using the same garbage can and lid with no problems. There is no reason to change now. The weak excuse I read in the recent newsletter that someone comes home on a windy garbage day to find their lid blown into a neighbor's yard is no excuse for everyone to, in town, to pay just $7, that was kind of cute, per month. That's just $84, 84 extra dollars per year, in addition to the service charge we already pay. So I pay $38 every 2 months, times 6, that's $228, plus the extra $84 for another can is $312, and I'm a single person household, so I don't see that it works out. We would be forced to rent Hood River garbage receptacles in an open, unended contract, a third-party contract. I feel like we're being forced into a service for a non-existent problem.
We do not live in an HOA, and I do not, nor will I consent. And secondly, also on the record, I'd like to ask, is it true that a retiring employee will be permitted to leave our employee with government property?
Different subject.
It is, yeah. Is it true?
I'm sorry, we can't answer that question. We're talking about the garbage.
Okay, well, I'll continue. Apparently, it's been approved that a retiring employee will leave with the laptop. That's what my understanding is. And so then I would like to know what security measures are in place to ensure that there are no sensitive documents or personal information on it.
Again, that's not the topic of discussion.
That's fine. I just want it out there, and I'm asking that it not be edited out of the YouTube.
No,
We don't have capability. Oh, yeah, it's been,
no.
okay, I think that was it.
All right, thank you, Kim.
Thank you.
Okay, so now we're on to appearance of interested citizens to share a variety of perspectives on issues facing our community.
Okay, Kathy, would you come back up, please?
Now you do.
Now you can, come on back up. All right.
To answer your question, we have a Surface Pro that was purchased by the city in 2017. It is now estimated to be in value of $300, and the council has approved giving me that retirement gift, which is below the approved value of retirement gifts.
Like a watch or something.
Yeah,
So is it that laptop?
it is not this one. It's a little Surface Pro. I can go get it if you want me to.
Is there private and sensitive information
There is
on
not
it?
private sensitive information on there. It will be given to our IT guy who will wipe it clean and give it back to me before I do.
We had that concern, so we addressed that.
Okay,
And
Yeah.
this is perfectly legitimate. Thank you for.
all right, thank you.
Okay, so, yeah, Connie? This is in regards to Windsong Terrace Phase 1.
Yes,
All right,
and Mr. Zimmerman and members of the council, I guess we don't have the mayor there, but we have you standing in, Kathy, that's wonderful. I was here last week and at the last meeting, and shared a little bit of information with you, since all the lot owners on Windsong Terrace Phase 1 received a letter from Gordon Zimmerman regarding our city administrator, regarding our need for having an HOA, which was news to many of us, which is what I shared last time. And I said I didn't want an HOA and didn't know anybody that did, except for Colleen. Now I know Colleen, she does. That's not true. So, anyway.
hold on.
That was last time.
Keep going.
Anyway, so I'm gonna keep going since you're gonna limit me to 3 minutes, so I'm gonna try to do this as fast as I can. So, anyway, so it sounds like Colleen doesn't even want it, but it looks like we don't have a choice from this letter and some of the other documents. So what it started was a huge opportunity to meet neighbors. And we have met a couple of times, and we're trying our very best to work our way through this. And the more you get into it, the more complicated it gets. Because you've got the CC&Rs that were passed in 2007, and now understand that we're bound by the CC&Rs whether we have an HOA or not. And that was just took a while to sink in. And then there was all the different things that Osprey said to different people at different times. In fact, I gave you a letter that Osprey sent in 2015, in which they told the homeowners at that time, effective immediately, the Homeowners Association of Windsong Terrace is a voluntary organization. And you were voluntarily required to take care of these 2 plots, but that's all you're required to do. So, but it doesn't get rid of the CC&Rs. It doesn't get rid of the HOA. It doesn't get rid of anything. And in fact, I found out in 2013, this is 2 years before they wrote this, that they incorporated our HOA. And that's wonderful reading. Not only did they incorporate it in 2013, but they filed their reports that they were required to file in 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, but not 20. And so the system kicked it out. So now we're something different. It says in the event the association shall at any time be dissolved, whether inadvertently or deliberately, it shall automatically be succeeded by an unincorporated association of the same name. So doesn't sound like anything's different. It's just that now we're all liable for everything, and we don't have an incorporation, and we don't have insurance, and we don't have any of these things that you have to have when you're doing business like that. So it says, in the event all the property, powers, and obligations of the incorporated association existing immediately prior to this disillusionment shall thereupon automatically be vested in the successor unincorporated association. And I think that's us. And so now it's all confused. Is it? Isn't it? We don't know. Get a lawyer, I'm told. Well, they cost money. Do we have any money as the homeowners association phase 1? No, because we didn't exist. We didn't even know we existed until we got this letter and found out all of this stuff, information since then. And I have written you an email and asked that you get it because I sent it on Tuesday, but I shared this with a whole group of people before you ever even saw it. So you have to look at it now. Oh, please do look at it now. So one of the things I said, some of the things that I've been learning is that the city had a performance bond with Osprey. And at one time, and that Osprey would do everything they had to do. And this letter right here that I showed you that comes from Osprey and is signed by Dan Wisner. He is now the principal guy that you're talking to regarding visitation homes and Windsong Terrace Phase 2. So anyway, so you're going to be entering into another performance bond. But the thing was, Osprey says, we're going to do everything we say we're going to do. And they gave a performance bond to the city, and they didn't do everything they said they were going to do. And so now here we are, because they didn't sign a declaration saying we're dissolving this, we're doing that. They didn't think, they didn't give us bylaws. They didn't set this up. They never held a meeting and told us that this is going to happen. They never sent us a letter. They sent us stuff like this. And we're in a mess. So we're in a situation now that we're absolutely sure it's going to take more than 90 days to resolve. So that was one of our requests, that you give us up to 180 days. It was another request that you look into the city's insurance for errors and omissions and see if this can be covered, because we're going to have to absorb a lot of costs that shouldn't have been ours. It should have been Osprey's. And yes,
I know.
So, but it doesn't say that in the minutes. You keep it to 3 minutes. Really, you have to say that in your agenda. So anyway, so I hope you'll read the rest of it, since I didn't
I read it.
have this to give to somebody else and ask them to read it, which I could have done.
All right. Thank you. Thank you. All right, Regina. Okay. Here. And this is in regards to the Windsong.
The Windsong Terrace Phase 1. Hi, I'm Regina Hendrick. I'm a homeowner here in Cascade Box, and I would like some more time for all of us homeowners to fully understand what we're walking into. And I just would like at least 6 months for us to gather our thoughts and do our due diligence. And in the meantime, if we have to hire somebody local to maintain those 2 areas, then that's fine. I'm sure we can arrange something, but I would like time to,
Some more time.
yeah, some more time to make any final decisions on our neighborhood until we have time to do our due diligence.
Are you in agreement with the 180 days, right?
Yes, is what I asked.
Is that?
I think that
And 6
at
months.
least 6 months, I think
Okay.
would be generous of you guys to at least give us that. That's all I'm asking.
All right, thank you.
Thanks.
Okay, So phase one HOA, is it?
10.
Thank you.
I figured.
You knew, I was like,
It happened-
I know I'm gonna
it
pronounce
happened
this
since
wrong.
I'm First grade, I think.
How do you pronounce it?
10.
Tang, all right, welcome, thank you for
Thank
coming.
you.
All
As I
right.
mentioned, my name is Tango. I am also in the Windsong Terrace, phase one. I just want to make sure that everybody knew that I feel the same way. And
Regina.
Gina. And I'm sure, and also Clayton actually has a lot more to say, so I'm gonna hand over my minutes to him if possible.
He'll start over.
I can't-
You got
can't
3
pop right
minutes
in.
if you want
No,
to.
no, that's all they
Okay.
they know way more than I do.
All right, thank you, appreciate it. All right, Windsong phase one, and it's Clayton. All right.
Thank you all for your time and your service, and I'm not gonna actually present a lot of information here, so I probably wouldn't need that much time, but the letter that you guys approved at the September 12th city council meeting is in your guys' agenda, and you can refer back to it, but a couple of things I want to point out. It says this HOA was never formed. And then also it cites city code section 86140.050. And I'm going to skip the front part of that code, which is being applied to us, but I just want to call into notice here the end part of that same section of city code. The articles of the association shall be approved by the city attorney prior to the recording of the plat, and they shall be recorded along with the plat. So in theory, if such an HOA was ever in existence, then it should have probably come to the city attorney. Whether it did or not, I don't know, but I think council should probably find the answer to that question. I think that's appropriate. So whether or not the city knew there was an HOA, that's a question. And then the claim that the HOA was never formed, that's another question. So we did find that the HOA was formed, and Connie had already discussed that. They filed their paperwork every year all the way up to 2019, and then there's a systematic dissolution of the HOA, which that same thing happened on the Harvard Engineering HOA when they created an HOA along with the plat laws under Harvard Engineering. And for a $200 fee, it was reinstated. And so under the law, there's supposed to be a transition meeting. And in this transition meeting, a lot of things are supposed to be passed down to us. So we feel like we're missing out on a lot of our rights. And specifically, one costly thing is an engineering study for a cost reserve study. This is probably already done by Osprey and is probably part of the HOA that existed. And it would be something that would save us a lot of money if we just got it for free, because it should be done already, in theory. And so that's just one item among many on this list. So there's supposed to be a transition meeting declared to the majority of the owners are supposed to be there, a quorum present, defined by the bylaws. And then once they're there, there's this turnover process, a whole list of things that are supposed to legally happen. And I feel we're losing our protections under Oregon state law by this being directed directly at us. And so my first letter that it was dated on the 18th, I sent it to city administrator and city recorder a little later than that, but it was dated the 18th. Was signed by a lot of people saying that we believe under Oregon state law, the declarant creates the HOA, not an individual homeowner. An individual homeowner doesn't create an HOA. The declarant does. And so either the declarant is still Osprey or it's the homeowners association. And then at the next meeting, I had asked the last city council meeting if the HOA, if Osprey was still a legal company. So I'm just going to pass these out to everybody. It shows that as of today, Osprey is still a legal corporation in the state of Washington. You were told otherwise by City Administrator Zimmerman that they weren't. According to Oregon, they're a Washington company, so it should be responsible to check the Washington records, not the Oregon records. And so I have this for everybody, and I would like you to refer back to my original letter that was submitted to you all to take this up with the declarant. The declarant, we believe, has a responsibility to us, and we have rights, and also cost-saving things. If the insurance policy were going to pay for some of this stuff, wouldn't the city want that cost reduced by that cost study that should probably be done already? That was probably, the engineering firms probably did at the beginning. All stuff that seems very reasonable to me, that they probably should have just directed in the first place, either to the declarant builder or to the declarant HOA. but not to the city, to the individual homeowners, possibly years after. I don't know what time Osprey says they close out of the contract. That still hasn't been clear to me. So can I pass these out?
Yes.
Thank you.
All right, thank you. Fred.
Okay, now for the city recorder.
Thank you.
Councilor Miller's not here, so.
The ones that are not present.
Councilor Wood,
Thank you.
Councilor Fallon, and I didn't make one for you because you've already said you'd have to recuse, so. Thank you all for your time.
All right, thank you.
I still love a copy though.
I can send you.
We can make a copy.
Okay, I'll get a copy.
All right, we have one, Denise Baker. Land acknowledgement.
Thank you. I just wanted to say thank you for all the work that you do, the people that are here and the people on the screen. And in honor of Indigenous Peoples' Day today, I just wanted to do a land acknowledgement, and I'm using the academic research, and I have not talked to my Native friends. So I'm probably missing some tribes, but I would like us to all recognize that we are on the land that was originally inhabited by the Cowlitz, Confederated Tribes of Warm Springs, Cascades, Confederated Tribes of Grand Ronde, Confederated Tribes of the Sidets, and that we acknowledge that they have taken care of this land and endowed many positive things, especially the river, which is intertribal of many tribes I probably didn't mention, and that we want to acknowledge the Native peoples that were here and that are still here and still a contributing part of Cascade Docks. And I hope to see more Native contributions that are welcomed by the majority population in the form of arts or what beyond fishing, which I love fishing, love Brigham Fish Market, love the salmon candy and the fishing platforms. But I do hope we are all allies to the Indigenous people here and around the world that are still suffering some social oppressions of systemic racism. So, thank you.
Thank you so much.
Can I stop one more time?
Yeah, homeowner association.
Am I allowed? I'm calling Julian.
Yeah, I was gonna say, that state your
Yes.
your name.
And I have a question about the rules and I don't have any issues with what anybody has said. Everybody is so right on. There has been some talk about what on the storm track that's in front, what is the maintenance that is required? I noticed in the original CCNR that the wording says that it has to be maintained by the operations manual of that time. I looked for that in the operations manual. I can't find anything that says what is required in that track. But in the 2016 amendment, it is amended at the bottom. And it says the maintenance of the storm track and open space. It's an amendment to section 3.17. And it says that the property owners shall voluntarily maintain the stormwater track as well as the open space track. All we have to do is the keeping trees and brush from establishing themselves inside and around the perimeter of the water track, as well as periodically mowing. So does that mean we have to maintain anything as to the operation of that? Or do we just have to mow? We need clarification if we're going to take on this as to what's required in that storm track and how much property around it are we required to keep? Are we all the way to Forest Lane? Are we all the way to Sheridan? Are we, how do we get between the two fences? That kind of stuff. That would be nice so that we can plan if we end up having to do this, what we have to do there.
I don't know.
Because the manual of operation that was in the original CCNRs, I can't find anywhere in the city rules. And they're from 2008, and I can't find anything before 2012. So I'm assuming you only keep records for 10 years.
Depends on what the record is, but I don't know that would have been present with the HOA, which
Correct.
they never gave us anything. So
So,
when
but
I
if,
talk to Mr. Weisner and Mr. Dispro on Thursday, I will ask them.
right, because if we're going to take this on, we need to know what it requires. And if we're going to have periodically maintenance, that will be expensive to make it operational, or do we just need to mow?
Good question. You have about the HOA.
No, not about the HOA, but something else. Everybody know the HOA?
Yeah.
Okay.
The If you could say your name again.
I'm Tiffany Pruitt, resident of Cascade Box for many, many years. Earlier today, I sent my husband in to pick up some paperwork that I wanted to receive concerning the trash ordinance today. And he was told that it's online, you can make copies from there. He was told by 2 employees of the city. And I just want to point out in your packet today, you have Gordon Zimmerman's top 10 list for city staff. And number 1 says, treat everyone internal and external with dignity and respect. And number 8 says to build bridges and not barriers. And 9 is excellent. Excellence is not an accident. And not everybody has a printer at home. Not everybody can afford printer fluid. It's very expensive. It's the price of gold anymore. And today was a holiday, so it was not possible to go to the library to get a copy of it. So if somebody came and asked and was willing to pay for the copies that were being asked to be made, and we're told, no, you can go home and make it from your from the computer or from online, that's to me is not building bridges. It's building barriers.
Thank you. Got him up. Reports and presentations, city committees. Cascade Lots PTO request.
Sure. There's an email. PTO would like to come for the city council and request participation on the Bloomer table run by the city for our family, our Fright Night family friendly carnival on Saturday, October 22nd.
Is there any, I'm out of town that weekend, otherwise I'm happy to run it, but I'm out of town.
I could be there.
Could you? Okay. Brenda, do you want to be there as well, or? Or Butch or Jeremiah? Any interest?
I'm in Arizona that day.
That's right, okay.
I think I'm doing something already with the port through that, so I think I'm already halfway committed to it in some fashion. But yes, I'll figure out a way to be a part of it.
Okay. All right. All right, city administrator Zimmerman report.
Thank you. Brenda, the Dry Creek Booster Pump Project, everything has been installed. We're waiting for the electrician to come and set up the electricity. I think we can get there before the end of the month. We should be there. He's gonna get there as soon as we can. Once the electricity is like all the wiring is all done, we'll do a test and hopefully it will be successful.
Maybe the end of the month.
The mayor was concerned about the fire hydrant at Venture and Wanapah Street. We've contacted 2 contractors. They think they can get it done by the end of October, but they haven't given us a cost estimate yet. We'll take the lower of the 2 cost estimates to get that done. For your information, the federal water year runs from October 1st through September 30th. And that just completed water year, the city had 84.83 inches of rain, which is 110%. So we're not in it. The fire department requires the fire sprinkler system to be inspected and repaired. We have budgeted $5,000 for the work. The quote came in at $5,491. Maybe proceed with the service and repair of the fire sprinkler at the fire hall.
Is that one sprinkler in it, or
It's the whole building sprinkler.
is it?
Yeah. I need a direction, approval.
A motion to,
Motion would be fine or just consensus?
I think, yeah, that's kind of fixed.
It's kind of fixed. Kind of important.
Butch, Blue, and Jared? Okay, thank you. Just a reminder too, the Bradford Island Super Fund Project, we'll have a public meeting here in this room on October 19th. I believe it's at 6 o'clock. And I will be attending the Oregon Municipal Utilities Annual Meeting with Sisters on October 20th and 21st.
Any other matters?
Number 8 first.
Oh. All right, have mayor and the council comments. How about Butch, would you like to go first?
Oh, the first thing I noticed is I can hear you, I can hear Brenda. Gordon's kind of weak. Most of the speakers were kind of weak in volume. Pete, I couldn't hardly hear him at all. So.
Didn't say much.
Yeah, so something has to be done with our volume on this thing for Zoom meetings. Of course, it could be my ears, but otherwise, I appreciate everybody that showed up to testify today. I believe they need 180 days more. And so I would probably set a date for like April 10th for them on the HOA question. Also, we had a great session down there in Bend with the LOC meeting. I acquired quite a bit more on some knowledge and some how to work projects, but I also acquired COVID, so that's why I'm at home. That's all I got.
All right, thank you, Butch. Feel better. Jeremiah?
I didn't acquire COVID, but I'm not feeling great, so I decided to stay home just in case. I did test negative, but wanted to be better safe than sorry. So I did also want to acknowledge Indigenous People Day and also include a couple of other tribes, the Nez Perce tribe, the Confederate tribe of Umatilla, the Warm Springs, and as well as the Yakima, who all have treaty fixing rights here. So wanted to make sure as well, and I appreciate Denise bringing that up. I also had some information about some of the training I was going to bring back and was kind of excited to show everybody some of the stuff we learned. I'll save that for the next meeting. And that's all. I appreciate it.
All right, thank you. Brenda?
I just wanted to say thanks to staff and thanks to Tiffany, Colleen, Kathy, Connie, Regina, Tim, Clayton, and Denise Baker. All of you guys, you were heard by me. And I want to, I had thought on the fire hydrants that we were just waiting on parts. I didn't realize we were hiring that out.
We have the parts, and the mayor said, I want that done before leave office, and I want a date at the next meeting. So I have a date for him, but he's not here.
Dry Creek's been going on for a year probably. But, also, can we take a look at all the political signs that are in Cascade lots? Not that they bother me, but that they're not on city right away, because whenever we did citywide garage sale days and we were trying to raise money for our very own fire department, we had to pull all of the signs down because they were on city right away. And John, our fire captain, actually got a call while he was on vacation to do that. So I would like to, that is why I'm asking for that, is because I would like the same thing done, because if we can't put signs out to raise money for our fire department because they're in city right away, then we shouldn't be able to put political signs out there either. So I would like them signs checked. I'm not sure how far, I'm not sure of the guidelines or anything on that, but and the other thing is Forest Lane is still like a freeway. That's one of my pet peeves. I see the signs lighting up, telling them how fast and all that, but by the time they get to me going westbound, they are flying, and usually going eastbound too. So I promised until we figured out how to slow it down and get it safe in a residential area, that this was something I was gonna bring up every council, and I will continue to bring it up every council until we get it resolved, either by lowering the speed, putting speed bumps, whatever we gotta do, enforcing it, whatever. It is a problem. And then, I think that's all I had as far as Lane Dry Creek and all that, and, I think that's it. Thank you, guys.
Well, first and foremost, just thanks to everybody coming to speak this evening, both on the trash issue as well as the HOA issue and Indigenous Peoples' Day. I thought that was great to have that included as well. But oftentimes when we're trying to make decisions about like the trash receptacles, we're trying to make decisions in the best interest of everyone here. You know, we don't have any ulterior motives. We're really trying to do what, you know, represent the citizens. So without people's input, it's really hard to make an informed decision on our part. So it's helpful for us to hear concerns that people have. I did say, I want to recognize that city staff for getting those signs up. I was really happy to see those up on Forest Lane this week, and I was thinking of you as I was driving down Forest Lane and wondering if it was making a difference, but there is such a span between the two. It's, we get 4 of them? I don't know that signs are gonna fix it.
Yeah,
I mean,
I don't
really,
think
you can
so.
sign the heck out of it, and it's not
No.
gonna necessarily go down.
No.
But at least it's shown an effort.
Yeah.
And that's really all I got.
Thank you. So first of all, I really want to thank everybody for coming. It was, it's nice to hear community input, kind of to reiterate what Pete said. We're just trying to do the best. I mean, we've got citizens who are, you know, it's like, it's $7 too much. And then we have people going, yay, because it's on wheels and it's easy. So it puts us in a tough position. But always, I mean, always welcome, come talk. We really, really want to see involvement. And so it's really nice to see citizens come. And I gotta hand it to everyone. Everyone was respectful. And if I was sitting here smiling, because I'm just like, I'm so down, I'm proud of everybody. There was no yelling or anything. And I just thought, oh, I love my town, you know. Thank you to, gosh, the office and everybody holding the fort down when some of us were gone last week. All the packet, all the preparation, that's quite a bit. The LOC meeting last conference, it was 3 days. And it was a big learning curve. And I gotta tell you, it was amazing. Came back with all sorts of new ideas and valuable information. And we're gonna go over that more for when everyone's here and feeling better too. So, but really excited for that opportunity. And then as far as, you know, to comment on the 180 days that for the HOA longer, and Butch had mentioned April 10th, I would be in like May 1st or something, get out of tax season. Because usually people, it was April 15th is tax day. So if you're not gonna ask for days, go to like May 1st, maybe. I would, I can completely understand and respect the frustration. I'm in Shahala, and we have HOA, and HOAs can be cumbersome and they are time consuming. And so I would personally be supportive of getting some time. So because it's gonna take a while to get your feet underneath you and get everything going. So, but maybe ask for May 1st. And I think that's it. Okay. All right.
May I ask a question?
Sure.
I think there's some questions that many people brought up. And tonight, I think that it was clear that people could raise those questions, but weren't necessarily going to get a response or an answer to those. When do those questions get answered?
That's a good question.
I'll do my best to answer the questions.
So it's normally, if you don't have that, it's a debate.
Gives us a chance to review and make sure that the information we have is correct.
I think the HOA one it's a complicated issue, and I'm kind of in a complicated position. But it seems like there's just a lot of, depending on who you are and when you bought, there's a lot of misinformation, or people are told very different things. And so
that's why I was in favor of giving time. So, because it's very convoluted, I've read through everything, and then I saw the letter that was in it, I thought it was interesting language, and voluntary required. I was like, what? What does that mean? So, it is very frustrating. So, and it was a good question to, when did those questions get answered? So it sounds like next meeting. Because I think some of us, we didn't know the answers.
My title people work is very different, because
Right.
I think that they learned some things, maybe from some of those people that voluntary compliance, it was very black and white in my people work, that there was a HOA and here's the CCNRs and I had to agree to that.
Right.
So it depends.
Your sales contract said there was an HOA.
From Timbercrest.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Mine did not. So did
See,
mine.
it's
Most
all
ours did
very,
not.
Yeah.
So for those of you who did not, if you go to the back end of your title report and look under tax things, it's probably under there.
You've seen it.
Yeah.
So,
The preliminary title.
but, yeah, so
So regardless, you might be told one thing from Osprey, but what matters is what's on the title report, is that correct?
right, right.
and
And,
it goes with the land, it doesn't go with the.
and is that what we've seen, Clayton, from people that you've talked to, is that even though they got this letter from Osprey, it's still on the title report?
It's still in the town, yep, it is, but, most of the people's bills of sale say that there was no HOA. And then, of course, the representation that, last city council meeting that Osprey had said to the city administrator that they didn't form an HOA and were going to form it under phase 2. And that's not the contract, nor is it applicable with the facts, and I believe that needs to be answered.
That's what they said, but,
It's good to ask. I think that they should be the first people we're asking, either the HOA or the builder, not the homeowners.
So will they be forced to form another HOA for phase 2?
yes,
And hopefully done in a better manner.
yes.
It won't be voluntary required.
There's also a city
This
code.
time they have to tell us.
Yes.
Yeah.
Right.
They never tell us. They didn't tell you, here's the HOA and here's what they're doing.
There's also a city, in that same city code I cited with, that says if there are things that are misleading, if they're being imposing, misleading, fraudulent, such and things, that the city's supposed to look at those things. And if they're telling everybody there's no HOA, is that a mistake? It could be. Thought they were allowed to tell there's voluntary. But either way, the salt stuff needs to be looked at next time.
Or is it stuff they're saying homes?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Are we pushing into that territory of something that is nefarious? Yeah, that's what we want to know, and I think we have a right to know. And the first place to start these questions should be with either the HOA or the developer, and not with the homeowners as the way it was.
So,
Can I just say, I shared with Connie, because I was very involved with HOAs, both in Walters, Oregon and City of Milwaukee. There is an annual law conference that's just about to happen for HOA law, only $10, and she's got the link, Pete has the link. And it's by VF Law, which is the state's #1 HOA law. In fact, the owner of that law company is a legislator in the past, former legislator who wrote a lot of HOA law. The cool thing about going, and you can attend on Zoom for $10 on that October 22nd. Connie has a link, Pete has a link. So you can ask them, is in the past, hopefully they still do it, each person who's there gets to ask an HOA lawyer a personal law question. So woo, you're saving money. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And we might.
For $10? Hey.
$10.
All of you guys, yeah.
Yeah.
Take that out for it.
Yeah, because you don't want to miss it, because it'll be a whole year, that's what I'm saying. Yeah.
All right.
Oh, point of privilege, happy birthday, Kathy, thank you
Oh.
for being here on your birthday.
You know.
Next year, you might not be here.
Right, I hopefully somewhere like on a beach or something, I don't know. But, all right, so motion to adjourn,
Make a motion to adjourn.
let's, okay.
Number 9.
So, other matters. All right, no executive. So number 11, adjournment.
Hey, Gordon,
yes,
is this your last meeting or you have one more?
one more.
Okay, just confirming.
All right, we have a motion to adjourn. We need a second.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Do we have to do a roll call vote? Thank
Aye.
you. All right, thank you. Meeting adjourned. Thank you very much, really.